Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is going to be instructions on installing the Holley Sniper intake manifold on your Jeep Wrangler or on any Hemi engine that you want to install this on. There's not a lot of instructions online, or at least clear details on, what these ports go to and where to drill and tap. So I'm going to make sure you guys know exactly what to do to make this work. You got the biggest one, you got one a little bit smaller. This is what we're going to hook up to the brake booster, the one that's a little bit smaller. Next one will be for the EVAPs, and then this one will be the PVC where it'll come out, and we'll have to drill and tap a hole on this side, and we'll use this 90-degree fitting. So make sure you use some thread tape when you're putting these in the holes. So now we are drilling and tapping to put this fitting on the other side. So we'll drill and then we'll flip it over and tap the other side. Now that we got the hole drilled, we're going to remove the fuel rail. That way we can tap it from the top side. Then we've got this 90-degree fitting. We have it off to the side because you're going to have to get a bolt in here. So it'll go here and then it'll go inside. And it will attach right here to the smaller barbed fitting. This center one is going to be for the EVAP. And then this third one is going to hook up to your brake booster. Put a plug in for the fourth one. There's this plug that's going to be here on the oil filler neck. That's going to go into the oil catch can. And then on the other side of the oil catch can will be this intake fitting right here. When switching to the Holley Sniper, you need to take off the map sensor off the top here, and that will go on the back of the new intake. This is the actual short runner valve. That does not come off. Only the map sensor comes off and goes that. And that is all you'll use from this intake besides your injectors. And here's the original map sensor on the back of the new intake. And then you got the fuel line here. This is the AN fitting. Front fuel line, those just bolt together. And then normally the injectors are a little bit too short, but we were able to get an injector spacer. That way you don't have to actually trim these down at all. These little posts get the spacer and it lowers the injector and it all fits perfectly. So we got the intake manifold sitting on here, and we are going to be using AN fittings to make the fuel lines. So we've got the line right here. We've got a 90-degree fitting on it. 90 degree will be at the end here. It'll go straight down into the fuel tank. Other end of this line will have this adapter that goes from the AN line to the fuel tank. So we got our fuel line length that we needed. So then we're going to take a cutoff wheel just to cut it. So you can't use regular side cuts. First put this end on the hose. A lot of these thread on lefty-loosey first. Bottom it out. And then you take your other end, put some lube on it, and it screws into the hole. That one is righty-tighty. Take your AN wrenches. And then we're going to screw in this adapter here. And here we have a homemade AN fuel line. If you have the regular intake manifold, you can use the fuel line from Jeep Speed Shop, which is this guy right here. But since we have the Holley Sniper intake, we already had an AN fitting at the end of the intake manifold. So we made our own with AN fittings. Here is the emissions EVAP here, and this will go right on this little nub here. We are going to have to extend these wires for the plug. So we're getting ready to do this EVAP line. And we've got the factory one from the 3.8. It's shoved down here. We cut it to where we'll have a different hose attached to it, and then it'll attach to the other fitting right here. That way it's not sitting up on top like it's would if you kept it all factory hose. And that goes down to the gas tank right here. And then this side will come right here and a route under and attach to one of the fittings on the bottom side of the intake. just like this, and it doesn't matter which port on the bottom side of the intake it attaches to.
All right, gotta plug this in right here. There we go. It's nice, high and tight. Just get it around that O2 sensor.
Perfect.
And we can zip tie it up there with the other stuff. Yeah, so it'll go right up there. All be zip tied. Be nice, high and tight, out of the way.
So this is the finished EVAP line coming from the gas tank. And that'll go on the bottom side. And then this top side will go right here. So next we're going to install the intake manifold for the final installation. To hold these lower gaskets on here, we had to add a little bit of RTV. That way it prevents it from falling out as soon as we flip the whole thing over. So we got the intake set on here very gently. Got the brake booster hooked up on the bottom. Had one person hold this while I hooked up the brake booster cable. And then this Holly Sniper comes with bolts over here, because they are going to be different bolts than your regular intake manifold. And then also comes with gaskets, and it comes with a throttle body gasket. That's different from the stock throttle body gasket. And then we had to purchase new bolts because it won't use the stock bolts also. We'll follow the torquing sequence to torque this down. So here's the sequence, and we'll tighten it down to 9 foot-pounds. So the intake is on. Got the fuel lines here. Got the EVAP all hooked up. The bottom of the EVAP goes down to the fuel tank. This side of the EVAP goes to the intake manifold and the plug here. Don't plug in your injectors until after you prime the engine. Plug in the map sensor, and then it's time to plug into the throttle body. So now we can plug in these injectors and get ready to start. You'll want to look for any type of fuel leakage also before you start it. So just go through and check everything out.
Ready?
It starts.
Yes. 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 Oh man.
She starts, she purrs.
It sounded good.
Sounded good.
It sounded good.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm gonna change.